How y'all doing? Like we said, we up on the late night. Do a shout out.
Good in.
So if you don't get a shout out, don't no hard feelings. We just forgot. Just let you know. But
Shout out.
shout out to my brother Eric for not being ugly
Being tight.
and for smiling. But yeah, so shout
Wow,
out.
what was you about to say?
Nothing. Shout out to my fave brother,
Who? Kansas.
Kansas.
Shout out to Kansas. Okay, pretty good.
And then just shout out to my regular fave. What's his name? Right behind.
Oh, right on. Shout out to
And then
Low life Jetson.
for having
all the hoes.
Low Life Jetson. Low Life Jetson.
Why would you want to be a low life?
No, I don't think that's what it
No.
is.
Shout out to my mom Breezy.
Shout out to Jabri.
We love you, mama. Hey, mama.
Love you.
Shout out to Onasia
Yeah.
for not answering nobody's phone calls after you called her like 15 times. Shout out to Kanan
For being Taylor.
for making up names for people and
Shout
having
out.
his friend dive on me.
Shout out to Nolan.
Shout out
for
to
making
Nolan.
Shout out to
Go
Taylor.
Monday.
We gotta do one people. Oh, why did you point at me? Shout out to Lil No No. Shout out to Taylor Flowers for being in love with Jalen.
Me level 2.
Shout out to
Shout out to
um
Armani.
yeah.
Being Armani.
shout out to Armani. Shout out to Taylor Brown for
Putting all
cussing
them
everybody
little hoes
out
in
on Facebook. Shout out to
check.
shout out to Dejoy for
Not being scared of nobody.
right with her little self not being scared of nobody. Ow! Not being scared of nobody. Shout out to Tanae. To Tanae.
Shout out to your computer screen.
Shout out to Tanae.
Why do you always look at me down?
Shout out to Tanae for hopefully dropping everything. And I guess we need to know. Shout out to mine.
No, that's
Monte.
yours.
Shout out to Monte. Shout out to. We need to go through this for him.
Shout out to
Lil T.
Shout out to Little T.
Shout out to Dion.
Shout out to Dion. Shout out to Terrell.
Shout out to Larry.
Shout out to Day Day. Shout out to Auntie Ashley.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Auntie.
DeAndre. Oh,
Shout
that's
out-
not his name.
Shout out
yeah,
to
Deon.
Nadir.
Yeah, shout out to Nadir with that big old.
Mohawk.
Making all the girls fight for you.
That's not good. Shout out to
What they
Not
did
CJ.
do, I got a question for you. Is that a mohawk or a box? Just asking.
Shout out to CJ and Tanae.
Yeah, shout out to CJ and Tanae. What other couple? Shout out
Ty and Taylor.
Yeah, shout out to Ty and Taylor.
Armani and Teron.
Shout out to Armani and Karan. Shout out to Timon and Kaven. Shout out to shout out to Jemiah and SJ. Shout out to
Tara.
shout out to CC. We doing couples, right?
Shout out to Wild Child Shouty.
Shout out to Minnie.
Alright, you could have just said me
Right.
all that bullshit.
No, it was on the computer screen. I just said it.
Shout out
Shout
to Dora, her and Nate. Shout out to
She said her name.
shout out to how do you pronounce her name?
It's Ducci, motherfucking, not Nadine.
Oh yeah, Gucci. Shout out to Dora and Gucci, not Dora and Nadine. My bad. Shout out to Lashaya and oh no, never mind. Shout out to Lashaya. I think that's how you say her name.
Shout
Shout
out.
out to Nene and
Shout out to Summer.
oh for being nappy headed ugly bitch. Who thinks
Pitbull.
her
Y'all
head.
is mean as hell.
I know you ain't talking because everybody be talking about how she ugly, and can't nobody say that she's not ugly. Shout out to me.
My cookie.
Shout out to Tuki. Miss Crazy.
Shout out to
Oh,
Didi right here.
that is not my name.
10.
That's not my name.
Which one would you prefer?
Yeah.
I prefer Didi.
Shout out to shout out to my cookie Tyra. Shout out to Damon.
Shout out to
Damon.
her, Jayla. Shout out to my auntie Tally.
Yes, we already said Italian. Shout out to Trinae. Shout out to Kayla.
Jasmine.
Yeah, Jasmine.
Amelia.
Shout out to Asia. Shout out to
my auntie Kiera.
yeah. Shout out to Kiera. Shout out to Darshawn.
Shout out to
I just said Dardar.
Oh, shout out to Trey. Yeah.
Woo!
2 times 6.
Slur.
Shout out to him and Brianna.
Clover.
I said
Even though
I said Culver.
Yeah, Culver. Clover. Shout out to them for not really even acting like a couple.
Shout out to me about to become a grandpa.
Yeah, we need some too, man.
Okay, well since she's at the video. Okay.
Put up a shout out to me for the
Shout
shirt
out
being all
to-
short. I thought you could have something else.
Shout out to
Wait, hold on, go on the video.
shout out to
Shut up, ho.
oh who you talking to?
Yo, daughter.
I mean hey, she called you a hoe. Well that's all the shout out because this video is too long. So whoever didn't get a shout out,
We still ready though.
I mean
Oh wait, I forgot my cookie.
we already said her.
And my two, no, we said on the last video.
Okay, well, shout out to them.
And Robert. And Deandre for being said Robert.
Okay, well, shout out to all of them.
Yeah,
And whoever we didn't say, maybe we forgot about you. My bad. But,
Good lady though.
okay.